and welcome to the Terra Hexa Park in Jurassic World Evolution. Terra Hexa is a sandbox tropical park which I'm gradually building up. This episode I'm tackling some guest amenities in the central hexagon, challenging myself to do this as a 100% custom build. I'm also squeezing in a brand new dinosaur paddock in this area. That includes one brand new species to the park and a risky relocation of another species to see if I can improve the welfare situation. Before I get to building the new stuff, there were some helpful comments left in the previous video about this problem enclosure here. First of all, I don't need to have the hatchery attached to the enclosure. I can have this as a standalone building and fly the dinosaurs in. That's a great suggestion and will be incredibly helpful when I'm creating the other enclosures. The other problem, I released too many Brachiosaurus in here, and the comments did let me know I can release some of these to the wild, so that's what we're gonna do. 2 lucky Brachiosaurus get to live their best life somewhere else. So tranquilize you, and since you're the biggest and there is a space situation here, yeah, you can go as well. Again, thank you so much everyone for the help in the comments. I'm definitely behind the curve when it comes to Jurassic World Evolution, so every tip is incredibly useful to me. Right, you're going down. Oh no. Oh dear. Can they breathe? That's a very unfortunate place to get knocked out. Right, quick, figure out the transport. Right, so to release you to the wild, we need to transport you, and then we click the rewilding button. There we go. Right, and do the same with the big girl over here. So click you and rewild, and there we go. Perfect. I do hope you're okay. You've been underwater for quite a few minutes there. You're gonna, well, hopefully it's not passed away already. Otherwise, that's gonna be a fun rewilding for them. Let's just say it's a mild case of pneumonia or something. With that out of the way, I'm onto the build task for this episode. This central hexagon on the second tier, this is going to be a plaza with guest amenities and the hyperloop station. We've already placed the undecorated hyperloop in the centre with a circular path around it, so now I want to create a custom station shell for this. This is going to be a circular building, and that'll create a great focal point for the plaza. Playing on the loop part of the name, I want a looping and closed circuit kind of design. For this I'm using the custom circular building technique. Now I'm not an expert at this technique, but I do know enough about it to pull together something good enough. It is still a bit of trial and error for me, although I am starting to get a bit more confident with the keyboard shortcuts for building in Jurassic World at least. Things go much quicker when you can confidently use the shortcut keys. I will say, if you want to try out this circular building technique yourself, Rudy Renkamel has a great tutorial about circular building and all the steps that you need for that, so copying building pieces around the central point and how you're meant to rotate it and stuff like that. So I'd recommend checking that out. For the roof part of the station, I'm using the same technique to create a sloping grass roof. That's kind of a theme I've adopted for the park. So modern sustainable buildings with biodiversity elements like solar panels, green roofs, lots of glass for natural light. You can't get as complex with this kind of stuff in Jurassic World in, say, comparison to the Planet games, but I like that I'm starting to build up a distinct style for my park, which I think is unique to me. I don't think there's much else out there that looks like the kind of stuff I'm building here, so I'm taking that as a good sign. Next is building up the walls, and yeah, this is a little bit fiddly because it's a slope, so you have to put everything into place and then adjust each piece individually so it's not clipping through the roof. That takes a bit of patience, worth it to create something that's unique. These games do favour blocky square buildings, and I'm not a fan of blocky square buildings, so yeah, taking my time to do something that's a bit different. Next is going to be the detailed decoration on here. I've jumped ahead because there was far too much fiddling to complete the station detailing, but we do now have a working station. Granted, guests do seem to just magically disappear at the entrance, but they are using it at least. Not sure why just yet, because there's absolutely nothing here for them to do. So that's a long walk down the winding path here to nothing. That'll change soon enough once we've got the rest of the facilities in this section. But so far so good, happy with how the Hyperloop station turned out in the end. Next task is adding some tall viewing platforms. Initially, I'd assumed viewing platforms needed to be attached to the habitat barriers, but like with the hatcheries, that's not the case. Since we can have a freestanding platform, the tall one from this position has a great view across to the habitat across the way here. So that's what I'm going to put in. Again, challenging myself to make this a custom build. So, ignoring the mess of random hexagon shapes here, I've spent hours building up the platform tower. Many iterations, trying out different concepts. I came to the conclusion that using my arrival point tower design as a basis for this would be a good option. So, copying the spiral support structure, also some unique elements to break up the blockiness here, custom built windows. These went through several iterations. Eventually got to this design that I liked and then miniaturized it with the smallest pieces I could find in the game. So that's the tower part of the viewing platform completed. That was the hard part. Now I need to do a base that fits in with both the style and the structure. So this is the fully completed custom built viewing platform, and happy to say this is working as intended. Guests are now using this to view the big dinosaur paddock across the way. I was slightly concerned that even though I was able to place it, I wasn't sure whether they'd actually use it for the intended purpose. Well, they are using it, so much so they are clipping into each other. Spread out, there is room for everyone. Bit of future-proofing here, going to mirror this tower on the opposite side. That's so when we eventually get to populating the dinosaurs on the right, there'll be a viewing platform already in place for that. Next with today's build, big task, got to fill in the other amenities and populate the rest of this plaza. Completed this part of the build off camera. It was a lot of fiddling and figuring out how things work. Initially, I was tempted to use the in-game pre-built assets for the shops and whatnot, but they just didn't sit well and they weren't fitting in with the custom hyperloop design, so those got binned. I started from scratch and just took my time to work out what, where and how I was going to add all the shops, restaurants, toilets and such. What I've ended up with is a bunch of timber frame buildings. Some are sitting on their own like this one, and some of them are combined together in this quirky sort of misshaped building here. Got some good sustainable design elements, like we've got a living wall here. Pleased with this little wall. Then a fun part of the build, the building design is mirrored on this side, so it's exactly the same design as the opposite side, but it's just reflected, which meant I had to take all the buildings apart piece by piece, move them over, mirror them. Couldn't just take a copy of the whole building because it would have been the wrong way. Having guest pathing all the way around the buildings, that's meant I've had to decorate all 4 walls. So I've got some shops in at the back, making use of the unique shops like the Jurassic Traders and Sugar Theory, and squeezed in an upper courtyard for guest seating up there as well. That's the plaza complete. I'm now left with this gap on the lower side. I was thinking of putting in some guest education buildings here, but to be honest, I'm kind of burnt out on creating custom buildings right now. I need a break from that. Instead, I'm going to take a risk and see if I can get a dinosaur paddock in here. Hopefully the space is big enough, go with a tiny herbivore, and potentially, maybe I can squeeze in a dinosaur encounter building too. Bit risky, and we might end up with another inadequate habitat, but let's see how we get on. Got the basics down, and so far so good. Looks like this is working. I've used a custom barrier for this build. We're going to be going with a very small dinosaur here, so I don't think it's necessary to have the big huge fencing. Also got down some viewing platforms and the dinosaur encounter. Now I need to do a custom build for those. So decoration for this, I've tried to keep it in keeping with the modern sustainable aesthetic. Light fencing to suit the small species going in here. Hopefully the space is big enough. Lightly decorated small viewing galleries, and yes, I've used the hexagon shape mirror design for these, creating some really nice reflections there. Empty space in front of the hyperloop, perfect place for some additional planting. And the dinosaur encounter, not an easy building to work with, so yeah, took a bit of work to get this looking the way it does now. Already got someone waiting eagerly for a dinosaur. There's no dinosaurs in this habitat yet, mate. Anyway, style-wise, tried to keep this in keeping with what we've already put in here, so sustainable design, lots of biodiversity, green roof, living walls, toned down on the hexagons ever so slightly, but yeah, that's still the main feature in this build. Anyway, that's all the prep I can do for this. Just fingers crossed the animals are okay in here. So got down an additional isolated hatchery, and time to find our dinosaur. Smallest dinosaur that I can find in the game, Microceratops. Now, helpful tip from comments was modify the genome and select humility so that they're less fussy about their environment. Great idea, so let's give it a try out. Right, fingers crossed. Here we go. We've got 3 Microceratops making their way over to this very small new enclosure. I can see even now they are absolutely tiny. They barely fit on the blooming ropes there. I mean, this is ridiculous. Would it not have been easier to transport them by a jeep? Jeez, they're going to get whiplash. Careful. Oh, this is hilarious. Right, let's see. Yes, micro by name, certainly micro by nature. Now the big question, are they happy? Oh, these guys are very happy here. There's no problem with the space. Social needs good, environmental needs good, space requirements very good. There's almost too much space. That gives me an idea. Again, this is risky, but because I move over one of the problem dinosaurs I've got in this enclosure into the new one, we've got Dryosaurus in here, and they're a small dinosaur. Would they be happier in the new enclosure we set up? Only one way to find out. Right, here goes. Relocated all the Dryosaurus into this new enclosure. It's a lot smaller, but I don't think they need a lot of room. Key question, are they going to start fighting with the Microceratops as well? That could be a concern. Oh, hello, and it looks like they're going into the dinosaur encounter. That's got to be a good sign. Oh, and there we go. Looks like there's no involvement there between the two of them, so I'm calling this a successful move. Let's see. Yep, these guys are still happy. Doesn't appear to be any complaints about their new roommates. Oh, and hello. Is this our first dinosaur encounter? These guests have been very patient. They've been waiting a long time for dinosaurs to show up. They've just stood there with their bucket and nothing going on. So, indeed, we get to witness the first feeding. Oh, yeah, I'd be cautious there. I mean, I know they're friendly, but your head is very close to their mouth there. I don't know if I'd be that trusting. So I'd say a good idea on my part there. Relocating Dryosaurus was a good plan. We've also got an additional tiny dinosaur in the park that I hadn't initially planned for, and I'd figured from when I first laid this park out that I wouldn't have room for the dinosaur encounter. So pleasantly surprised I was able to get that in. Does feel like we're finally getting somewhere with Terra Hexa. Progress should be much quicker each episode now, the more I get used to the management and build controls. Building the amenities plaza, that was a good learning experience, and not as much as a headache as the hotel build was a few months ago. Next episode, I'll be moving on to populate some of the outer hexagons. We still don't have any carnivorous land dinosaurs in the park, and yeah, we definitely need to address that, don't we? Until then, as always, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next episode.